All right, Jamie, let's start from the beginning. You were born Jamie M. Usher in Kansas City. You moved to Manhattan. You moved to New Jersey after your mom remarried to Dr. Robert Gold.
That's true.
So tell me about it. Were you a bad kid, a good kid? Tell me about how you were.
I don't believe I ever got in trouble. I guess people would have called me a good kid.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I did very well in school and never
Not a
gave
troublemaker.
My parents, nah, that wasn't me.
I don't know. That seems kind of weird. I think you'd be a troublemaker. No, I'm just kidding. All right, your grandparents actually lived with you as well, right?
In Manhattan.
Okay.
I lived with my mom and my grandparents. My mom got divorced when I was 1, and I got to live with her and my grandparents until I was 10.
And you said that that's what sparked your interest in poker. At first, your grandfather, a champion gin rummy player.
He was amazing, yeah. I used to sit on his lap. He would play every Friday, Saturday, and Saturday night. I don't think he missed one weekend my whole life. That's what they would do every weekend. And then his wife, my grandmother, would play downstairs with all the wives. They'd play canasta.
Did he teach you any other games besides gin rummy?
Probably. I don't remember, but that's all he played.
Yeah?
That's all he played, yeah.
All right, we're going to flash forward a bit. You move out to LA. You become the youngest franchised agent in Hollywood. How did that happen? How did that happen for somebody so young?
I started working right out of high school. I got an internship at a talent agency in Manhattan. So I worked for 3 or 4 years, all my breaks and summers, so that by the time I got out of college, I had a job waiting for me.
And how is that industry? Do you still love it, or did you ever love it?
No, I loved it a lot. I got a little burned out. It's a pretty cutthroat business, and I did it because I love artists so much, and it really wasn't about that. It was complete commerce, and I think I was a little disillusioned, and so now I took a break from the business to play poker, and now I've come back, I believe, on the side where I can, really make a difference. So we're producing television, as opposed to me trying to sell clients. I'm actually creating work for people, so that feels a lot better.
So maybe poker's part-time right now.
Yeah, poker. I'd say I spend my time equally between television production, poker, and charity work.
Yeah. How did poker work its way into your life when you were the agent in Hollywood?
How did I first start playing? I saw Rounders.
Oh, yeah?
And that inspired me. I didn't know that there was a World Series of poker. I didn't know you
Really?
could win $1 million playing poker. But I had played my whole life in home games and with friends, and I definitely had a skill and a talent for it, but I didn't know how good I could possibly get. So I just started playing every day. And then I got addicted to it like most people do. And
yeah, you said at one point you were playing 40 to 80 hours a week on
and
top.
working full time.
Yeah, working.
Yeah, I wasn't sleeping a lot.
Were you stressed?
I would work. I think I was stressed because I wanted to be such a better player, and I knew that I wasn't. So that bothered me. That I felt like, I just wasn't getting it. There was about a year where I just wasn't getting any better. And then all of a sudden everything changed for me. I don't know what it was exactly, but things just kind of, I think I just really understood everything that I didn't know. And once you know what you don't know, you can go and figure it out. So now I'm on a path for the rest of my life to figure out all the things that I don't know.
Did you have someone help you during that time? Or was it all you?
No, God, no. I had several people help me. Johnny Chan inspired me a lot. But that's not where I learned how to play poker. I learned mainly from a few friends of mine. This friend of mine who was a professional for a while, who used to be a professional football player, Jeff Grau. And he's now quit to become a cop.
Weird.
Which is a little different. But I think he got burned out on it. You know, he was one of those guys at home that would play 6 screens at once, and you know, I think he just had enough. But I learned a lot from him, and I think I learned the most from my friend Eric Strozer, who we would just talk about every hand after we played and after every tournament. And I think talking it out really helps a lot.
Of course. Was he on the same level as you?
He was a much better, and still is a much better cash game player than I was, but he didn't play tournaments at all. Right. So, you know, he could be, but but he understands the game really well. And I think that, you know, we were on equal levels based on an understanding of the game. But he was a much better cash game player than I was. I just had a little more success in tournaments, I guess.
I know you'd played a few tournaments prior, but what made you decide to buy into that 2006 main event?
I actually played more than a few. I played...
oh, actually, yeah, you cashed a bunch in LA, right?
Oh, yeah. I won about 6 of those little weekly hustler tournaments.
Yeah?
I won a couple here at the Commerce. I won a decent-sized one, I think for about 50-something thousand at the Bicycle. And, you know, 4 or 5 years ago when we first started, that was a lot of money.
Of course. It was a lot of money to me.
Yeah, so to win in a poker tournament, you know, especially when you're first starting, to take first place in any tournament that has, whatever it had, 1,000 people or whatever, it's not an easy thing. But then I started winning a lot. Yeah. And that's what got me to feel like, all right, I'm ready. I never wanted to play until I felt like I could win the main event. That's why I skipped maybe my first 3 years playing poker. I didn't even play. I didn't feel like I was ready to play at the World Series. I just knew I wasn't as good as the other players.
Yeah, well, is there anything left to say about that run that you haven't already said in another interview?
It seems like everybody else has opinions about it.
Yeah?
But I'm not sure. I think it was the best I've ever played.
Yeah? Every day or just final table day?
The whole time? I think I played my best on the first day.
Yeah?
I mean, I could have been out the first day. I thought I made a pretty great call with bottom set when there was a straight and a flush on the board. 1 card straight and a flush on the board. And, you know, raise, re-raise, re-raise before the flop. So it just felt, and there was ace, king, queen on the board, and it just felt like somebody had to have aces, kings, queens, jacks, which would have made a straight. And I don't know, somehow I just figured out that the guy was bluffing when he called the clock on me. He just looked so upset. And usually if you have the goods, you just don't call clocks on people.
Well,
you know? So it seemed like that seemed to be my best play of the whole tournament. And that got me from 50 to 100,000 on the first day. And then...
And don't you think when you make plays like that, it makes your confidence this much bigger?
I had very little confidence in playing at that level going into it, even though somehow I felt like I told everyone I know that I was going to win the whole thing, which was not being cocky. It's just I just had this weird feeling that was my time, and so that's why there were 30 people that came there. They all believed it, and afterwards I said, you know, I got to tell you that there was almost no shot that I was going to win this thing. But they said, well, you told us you were going to win, so we all flew to Vegas. And somehow that's why
bizarre.
I had 30. It was very bizarre. And every day I said, you know what, I really think this is, except on the first day, I apologized to everyone. I called my mom and said, don't come. She was going to come the next day. I was down to, I think, 3,000 chips on the first day at the dinner break.
Really?
And I was playing, Dean Cain and I were both playing with Bodog. And it was his 40th birthday that day, and he had about 3,000 chips, and we'd celebrate. It was just him and I. We had dinner for his birthday. We had a cake together, and the two of us just sat there and just felt like this just sucks. And he had a private plane waiting to take him home, and he said, you know, do you want to come with me? And I had just met him that day. I'd never known him before, and I said sure. So I thought, you know, he and I were just going to fly back to LA that night on his jet.
But aren't you glad you didn't?
Yeah, we hadn't seen each other since until this last charity event that I hosted for Randy Couture, and he came and he said that, you know, he was so much happier that it was me instead of him. I don't know why. But
usually people say if it can't be me.
No, he really wanted it, because I guess I just wanted it so badly. He didn't care.
Right.
He was doing it just as a goof.
How often do you think about that win? The win?
Not much.
What? I would march around talking about it.